You are welcome to today's lesson on English. We are going to look at tenses. This topic has to do with measurement of time. Whatever we say or do is measured by time, it's indicated by time. And so we have the present tenses, the past tenses, and the future tenses. And knowing how to use the tenses correctly is very important. Sometimes the lack of proper use of the tenses can cause confusion. And of course, many questions cover tenses in the examinations. So please pay attention and you will benefit maximally. Now, you need to know some hints about tenses. The first thing you need to know is that it is through tenses that we express time. This has already been mentioned in the introduction. But take note of that when we talk of tenses or want to indicate time that an action took place, we're using tenses. So take note of that. Now let's look at hint number 2. Hint number 2, it is the verb that is used to indicate the tense. So when we talk about tense, what shows that an action took place in the past, in the present, or it will take place in the future? Look at the examples. We have one. He is here, telling you it is present. This is present tense. The action is in present tense. Now, but when we say he was here, meaning the person is no longer there, or it's no longer here rather. So that shows that this is in the past tense. So what are we using to indicate these different time frames? Is, the use of is and was, and these are verbs. So you can see that it is the verb that is used to indicate the tense. So you know that basic principle under tenses. Now hint number 3. There are 3 broad types of tenses. Look at one, the present tenses, the past tenses, and the future tenses. So, these are the 3. It's either an action is taking place in the present time frame, or it took place in the past time frame, or it will take place in the future time frame. However, there are a few blending here and there when we come to break these broad types into bits. Now, hint number 4. These 3 broad types mentioned in 3 are further broken into 4 types each, which are based on simple forms, continuous forms, perfect forms, and perfect continuous. Forms. So note that. Now, so each broad type mentioned in 3 will be broken into 4. And then that tells you 3 times 4 gives you 12. So we'll have 12 types of tenses in the English language. Now, what that means is that if we take the present tenses as an example, we will have the simple present tense, the present continuous tense, that is the simple present tense for simple form, then the present continuous tense for continuous form, the present perfect tense for perfect form, and the present perfect continuous tense for the perfect continuous form. That is what it means. And that goes for the past tenses too, as well as the future tenses. I hope you took that correct. You got that correctly. Hint number 5. Questions on tenses are often asked on sequence of tenses, where the tense, there should be where the tense in one clause depends on the tense and meaning in another clause. Example 1. Before they arrived, I had gone home. Now, if you are given this, then if you are given arrived, and this will have space here, you should know that your answer should be in the past perfect form because of the subordinate clause before they arrived, which is already past. So it means that two actions took place in the past. One was completed before the other was completed. The one completed first is put in the past perfect tense, while the latter is put in the simple present, a simple past tense, arrived. Then past perfect had gone. This one was completed before the action of arrival was completed. So you can see that this clause now determines the tense we have here. Now if you move down, when they arrive, almost the same sense, when they arrived, I will go home. In this case, what we have is the simple present tense, and here we have the simple future tense, because the action of the arrival is present, but of course the way it is put here, they actually have not even arrived. But when they arrive, it will be in present form, and that gives you the idea that the what should come in the clause here should be the future, the simple future tense. So you can see that the sequence of tenses, the principle of sequence of tenses has applied here, and often questions are drawn based on this principle. Hint number 6 is simply to remind you that this topic has been taught on this website. So more extensively, there we actually look at all the tenses, explain them, look at exceptions, look at peculiarities, and then of course give examples. So for more information, please go to this page and get more information on tenses. However, as we move on to practical questions, where we will explain the questions and the answers, of course, some of the points taught when we looked at the tenses earlier will also be explained. So you will definitely also benefit maximally. Now let's look at question number 1 under explained questions stroke answers. Lami's father dashed as a gardener when he was young, but now he is a driver. This question is based on sequence of tenses. Now, first you have to look at the other parts of the sentence. But now he's a driver. So that is now. It means that what comes before that should be then in the past. That is the implication. So we'll find out that what you should have here should be in the past, and that will we eliminate B. We'll also eliminate C, which are in the present, which are present forms of present tense. They are present tenses. Used to is present tense. C has worked. It's present perfect. In fact, used to is grammatically incorrect, because as soon as you say used, then it has to be past. What was happening habitually in the past. So that leaves us with had been working and then used to work. Now what we should have there should be the simple past tense. Our answer should be the simple past tense. Right? So having said that, our answer therefore is used to work, option D. Now this is not just simple past tense, but it is simple past tense based on the habitual thing in the past. So it was the habitual thing in the past, not just simple past tense. So take note of that. Now, it means therefore, if we're not making it habitual, another possible verb that can work there, in the sense of the sentence, would have been the simple past tense, past word, worked. Lami's father worked as a gardener when he was young, but now he is a driver. So, we find out that it's either we're going to say used to work or worked. But of course, worked is not in the option, so our answer becomes D. So I hope you took note of that. And that handles question number 1. Question number 2. When his car tire dashed on the way, he did not know what to do. When his car tire dashed on the way, he did not know what to do. The options are: A, has burst. That is, when his car tire has burst on the way, he did not know what to do. And then B, had burst. When his car tire had burst on the way, he did not know what to do. And then C, bursted. When his car tire bursted on the way, he did not know what to do. And then we'll have D, when his car tire burst on the way, he did not know what to do. So what is the answer? Our answer is D. Why have we taken D as our answer? Look at our answer first, once more. You will find that we come back to the question. Look at our clause marker when we haven't used before. And I come to the other clause where you've been given the verb, which is did not know. The verb we have here is in the simple past tense. The verb we have there is simple past. Simple past. It's a simple past form, or past tense. So that would determine the verb here. And when you use the clause marker when in the subordinate clause formation, in most cases, the verb that should be there in corresponding with the main clause, in the verb in the main clause, should either be the same simple past tense or the past continuous tense. The past continuous tense, in that case, it means that one action interrupted another in the past. So that you have, for example, a sentence such as I was coming, or when I was coming, I saw him. That is, the action of coming was interrupted by the action of seeing. Okay? So, but sometimes too, you can have the simple past in here, and then you have the simple past here. In that case, it means one action will interrupt the other. So that is the case we have here now. So that we have, remember that this is simple past. It's just that it's using, it's negative. Hence, you have it like this. If it's in the past, if it's supposed to be, he walked, he knew what to do. When his car tire dashed, he knew what to do, and he discovered that knew is simply the simple past tense. So knowing that, you look at your options again. There's no one that is in the past continuous form. When his car was washed, and it will be upward this time. People have the past continuous form. Then it means our answer should be the simple past. Now look at that. If you're looking at the simple past, then you are going to be looking at C or D. But then C is out because this question is also is based also on the part of verb that is used. This burst is an irregular verb. It doesn't form its past by our past participle by adding ed. It forms its past and past participle without changing. So that makes D our answer. Now, question number 3. Long after everyone dashed the hall, Obi still sat inside. Long after everyone dashed the hall, Obi still sat inside. The options: long after everyone left the hall, that's A, Obi still sat inside. Then we'll have B, long after everyone is leaving the hall, and then Obi still sat inside. C, long after everyone had left the hall, Obi still sat inside. And then long after everyone has left the hall, Obi still sat inside. Option A is simple past. Option B is present continuous tense. Option A is simple past tense. And then option C is past perfect tense. Option D, present perfect tense. Now, what will be your answer? Now, look at what we have. Obi still sat inside. That is an action of sitting in the simple past tense. The verb given is simple past tense, sat. Now, the remaining part, therefore, as said earlier, we retain the simple past, will be past continuous. But again, so in other cases where the two actions occurred in the past and one was completed before the other, then what you have, the tense that should come there should be past perfect tense. And that is the case we have here now. The action of sitting was in the past and completed in the simple past. But the action of living was completed in the past before the action of sitting, so to say. So having said that, it means our answer should be in the past perfect tense. So what is the answer therefore? It becomes C, which is had left. Past perfect. Past perfect tense. So you want to take note of this. Question number 4. An acceptance of the offer will be a departure from several rejections that. Now, if you look at this sentence, so we have our options, okay? A have taken place, B have taken place, C will take place, and then D took place. Now, if you look at this sentence, you go up, you see an acceptance of the offer would be a departure from the several rejections. Now, look at the verb would. Is a strong determinant. The verb would is a strong determinant as to what will be here. This would, the verb here, is the past form of will. The modal auxiliary will. This is a past form, and it's indicating that what should be here will be past. So that can help us to remove B, which is have taken, and then C will take place. So these two can conveniently go. Now we look at A and D. Now if you look at A is had taken place, which would be a better candidate here because the action had taken place before the other, several rejections that before this one we are talking of, which is already in the simple past, and they are not operating at the same level, meaning that one had happened before another. So when you have two actions like that in the past, with one finishing before the other, it's always better to put one of them in a past perfect form. Based on that, we now take our answer to be option A, as an acceptance of the offer would be a departure from the several rejections that had taken place. So meaning that the action would be, of course it's supposed to be future, but it's already hypothetical, meaning because of the use of would. So based on that, we have to move the use the past perfect tense in the space given. The question: he dashed the picture on the table. I will have option A, laid, option B, laid, option C, lied, and option D, lay. What is our answer? Our answer to this question is laid. So he laid the picture on the table. The reason is that, and laid here is the simple past tense. Simple past tense, because it's simply in the past, and of course it's just one action. This is unlike when we use the past perfect tense, because as soon as you use the past perfect tense, you will have two actions and two verbs. That is what action, that is the ideal thing. You have two actions and two verbs. The same thing goes for past continuous, but sometimes we can use the past continuous and use just one verb, but it implies that there's another action, okay, or that there was another action. But for the simple past, you simply have one action here. You lay the picture on the table. But we need to note that this question is more on using the correct form. The correct form of the verb. Lie. Okay. Let's say lay. Okay. Or, of course, lie. Now, this verb you need to be very careful with them. We'll look at this topic more critically when we look at part of a verb. So here, however, let's just briefly explain this. If you are putting yourself down on a surface, you say, for example, I want to lie down. And the past form of that is that I lay down. Now, but that lay can become the present form of when you want to put something on the surface. I want to lay. I want to lay down the book or something like that, and the past form will become laid. He laid the picture, for example, on the table. So you have interplay of these two words, lie and lay, where lay can be present form somewhere and the past in some other places. So you want to take note of that. That is part of the problem of this question. So it's not just the issue of past tense, simple present tense and all that. It's not the issue of tenses only, although you have that also as part of it. But then you must know the correct form or the correct tense of the verbs lie, lay, lain, laid, and of course lied is another thing altogether beside this one. That's the issue of telling lies. It can also, the word lie can also be a verb in with that type of meaning. So you have a number of things that are used in determining the answer here. You lay the picture on the table.